Well, howdy friends, Brian Flechsig of Mad River Outfitters in the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and welcome back to another episode in our series on fly casting. And today, I'm casting a fly rod made by Echo, and it is a fiberglass fly rod, and it's called the Badass Glass. And it's really become one of my favorite rods to fish. It's just so much fun. But you know, I hear from a lot of folks that tend to struggle, believe it or not, with casting fiberglass these days. They've gotten so accustomed to the faster action rods, possibly faster action rods of the Graphite, typically much lighter rods. And I think it's prevented some folks for taking a look at some of these fantastic modern day fiberglass rods. So we asked our great friend Tim Rajeff, who's the person that designed this rod for Echo. We asked him to join us and give us some pointers on casting glass versus graphite. BAG Badass Glass. These things are so much fun. You know, I, like a lot of folks, my first fly rod that I stole from my father, which I still have, it's an old Eagle Claw fiberglass. I still pull it out and catch fish on it from time to time. But that's what I learned to cast on, and I do love the feel of a fiberglass rod. But I think a lot of folks these days have trouble transitioning from graphite to fiberglass. I hear it a lot. I think a lot of people are scared off by casting fiberglass rods these days because they don't know how to make it work. So you've got some pointers on maybe the differences of casting the two and maybe becoming better at casting with fiberglass.
Perfect. Well, the first thing you need to do is slow down. You obviously have cast these glass rods, and as you said, people struggle going from modern carbon fiber to glass. And there's a few things that I tell people that help them. And if you're like you, me, Flip, where we started with glass, we learned to be smoother and allow our stroke to get a little bigger and wider and longer than we would for the same sized carbon fiber rod. And the reason for that is just the nature of these fibers. They're not as stiff as carbon fiber. So the rods by themselves are thicker to handle the same line weight. So it'd be like a light diving board. The lightest diving board in the world would be a modern carbon fiber rod. So this is an analogy I use. Imagine you go off the lightest diving board in the world and the diving board goes bling and flips you and goes brrr. It's so light it recovers quickly. The other thing is that board is so light, me as a 200-pounder, más o menos, and I get in there, I bend that diving board and it throws me X number of feet. A fiberglass rod is like a diving board with a 20-pound dumbbell taped to the bottom of it. It's the same stiffness, the same action, but it's heavier. So when I go to bend a diving board that's got more weight on it, boom, it's like a 220-pound Tim launches. So the board has to fight me and its own weight, and it doesn't throw me quite as far. It doesn't generate as much whoomp. What you feel is after you're gone, that diving board with the weight wants to do what? It wants to oscillate and bounce. So what we recommend is two things. The stroke length of a cast varies with the bend in the rod. So imagine a rod that is heavier by itself. If it bends more, you need to open up your stroke. So you go back a little farther and forward a little farther. Not like crazy painting an igloo 180 degrees.
You know, Flip calls that a window. The casting window, and I think that's exactly what you're saying.
Bigger window. We got a bigger window. You got to just open it up.
Exactly.
Second thing is when you come forward with that diving board analogy, you don't want to shock it as much. If you accelerate and you think of a graphite, modern, stiffer, lighter rod, you can have a smaller window and a little more aggressive pop because the rod is lighter, it recovers better, boom, and it'll keep that tip tracking. With glass, you need to just think about lengthening the application of power. So that means longer, smoother, and you're doing it already. You knew this already. You set me up because you, like you said, you grew up with it. So what I would say in summary is that the average person would be more successful with one of these rods and not throw buttloads of tailing loops, and you've covered that in your other tips. But the idea is to get a nice loop shape. You just need to smoothen out and lengthen. Smoothen and lengthen.
Smoothen and lengthen.
Da, 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 da. That's
Yeah.
it.
And if you push this rod too hard and you shock it coming forward, the sine waves are just going to travel down your line and your loop. So that's what you just said, smoothen.
Right. Then the bonus tip, so smooth and lengthen. The bonus tip is try and not cast with a death grip. Just modify the grip pressure to absorb those wiggles.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh, that's a good tip. So smoothen, is that a word, smoothen?
It's your show. You get to name your own words.
I do. I make up a lot of words.
So just
smoothen.
smooth and lengthen, and then when you're in your middle of your stroke, just kind of back off on the grip pressure, and that'll take the wiggles out of the rod.
Wow.
This is my wiggle, my badass glass wiggle. So you want to dampen, okay?
That's some great tips, man. Thank you. We greatly appreciate it.
Easy.
So there you have it, friends. Thanks as always for watching another episode in our fly casting series. This was all brought about by Echo's wonderful BAG, or Badass Glass, which has really become one of my new favorite rods, available in a 5-weight, by the way, for those of you in the Midwest.
All the way to a 10 weight.
All the way to a 10-weight.
Comes with a set of steak knives and a juicer.
Yes, and
Yeah,
if you
that's
order,
important.
if you order one today, we'll throw one in free just for the price of the rod.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Ciao.
you. As always, friends, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That really helps us out. And hit that like button. That makes us feel good. And stay tuned. We've got a lot more information on fly casting coming at you, and you just might see this guy along the way. Thanks a lot. Check it out at madriveroutfitters.com. The new Mad River Outfitters campfire mugs make coffee taste better.